With love and lavender, my beautiful royal family. It's day three of Divine Feminine Wisdom, 28 days of feminine wisdom for February. So happy, so grateful because today we're going to talk about something that's going to help propel you forward and keep you from getting stuck in your mind and also stuck in your body. Today, let's get into some story time. First and foremost, can we give it up for the month of February? February is one of my most favorite months. Definitely, it's my birthday. Yes, I'm an Aquarius. Okay, I am a water bearer. So I am an air sign. A big misconception of Aquarius is that we are water signs when in fact we are air signs, but we bear water. What I found this to be very in alignment in my life is that I'm able to have a really big capacity for emotions. So I tend to have a lot of emotional availability in my relationships. I have a big emotional capacity for myself and my own feelings. I tend to have a lot of patience. And I truly enjoy the transformation of emotion and how you can have someone, right? I'll have a woman come into one of my retreats and she'll come in a certain emotional state where she's feeling maybe fearful, depressed, defeated, and feeling like she's scrambling to pick up the pieces of her life if she's, recovering from a divorce or if she is now a new mom and her roles are demanding so much from her and she doesn't even know who she is anymore. Her identity is gone and then she leaves. She experienced the retreat, right? And then she leaves from the retreat feeling empowered, feeling esteemed, feeling confident. And all of this is just simply emotion, right? And so let's just give it up for the water bear energy, right? And God purposely creating me to be a February born Aquarius and, just again, cultivating that safe space for emotional transformation to happen because it's within the emotional transformation that's when change really happens, okay? So shout out to that. My birthday is February 7th. It's coming up this Friday, right? And also, February is Black History Month. Hello. And February is also a month where oftentimes people celebrate love. Okay, I'm just going to keep that right there. Nevertheless, always more. We're doing 28 days of feminine wisdom where I'm going to help you as a woman grow and ascend in your femininity because what I found to be the default and the inevitable reality of femininity is that it's a continuous transformative journey. So you can read all the books, you can listen to all the videos, and you can master a lot of great soft skills and a lot of feminine energy practices and rituals, but it is very continuous. Your journey and your life continues to change and shift, and because of that, femininity and feminine energy is always something that we are leaning into to become masters of as women, because that is our divine energy that we embody naturally. So 28 days of feminine wisdom in the building. And so today we're going to talk about talk about a concept that a lot of us women we have very honest and we have every right to have this honest because we usually are running the shows in our lives and our family dynamics, maybe in our career, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're a leader inside of your work, maybe you are a solopreneur. Wherever you are in your life professionally, you may be a high achiever, right? You may really like to accomplish your goals, and that's incredible. And oftentimes, when we go out and we set out to accomplish a goal, or let's say your goal is, okay, to start a business and make your first 100K, or maybe your goal is to date and possibly attract your husband. Maybe your goal is to enhance the intimacy in your current relationship. And maybe your goal is to get pregnant. Whatever your goal is in life as a woman, there's typically something that happens when we set goals and we have desires, right? We get very excited because our third eye gets activated with this vision. for what it is that we want. So we can see it, we can smell it, our sensations are activated, and we just got it. We got it deep in our body that, okay, this is exactly what I want. So you're clear on what you want, you feel it in your body, and you know that there are steps to take in order to materialize what it is that you desire in human form in this dimension right here in reality. So you're aware that there are steps. Maybe it's the start of a new business and you have to do all of the logistical documents and making your business legit and building your business credit and establishing your foundation, your audience, your clientele base, your customer base. Maybe it's branding and it's stages, and you're very aware that it's stages. It's the same thing with dating. You go out to date, right? And no matter if it's through apps or it's through in person, when you are in between getting in your car, going to the grocery store, you like to meet people in passing because maybe you feel like there's some form of divinity that comes along with that process. Whatever your process is and what your style is of dating, but you know that there's steps. There's a first date, second date, third date, courting phase, vetting phase. You know that there are steps. So anytime we desire something and we want to do something, we always are aware that there are going to be steps. Here's something that I found that trips us up, gets us stuck, and makes us get very close to accomplishing the goal or start to accomplish the goal and never really gain that sense of fullness or execute the goal or accomplish the goal. So, when we have this vision, when we have this desire, and it's clear to us, right? And it's clear of what we want, we know that there are steps to get there. We focus on the what do I have to do, right? We focus on what is it that I have to do in order to have this thing that's in my mind inside of my actual hand. And then we create this strategy. We create this step one, step two, step three. I'm a step one, two, and three girl. Like if someone gives me a bunch of information, like I can follow. I'm very witty, born and raised in New York. Okay, I get it. Like I can think very fast. Yes, right? However, I'm a step one, two, three girl. Like, okay, what's step one? I remember I was inquiring about booking a retreat experience at a wellness retreat in northern New York. And I call and this lady is giving me all of this information. And some of it just sounds out of order. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to follow her. And I said, okay, can you tell me step one? Like, what's step one? And quite frankly, she couldn't even really give me a clear step one. So I asked her, okay, would step one be me actually booking the spa experience first and then move into the actual in-house accommodations? She's like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, wow. It's so interesting how much sometimes we can complicate step one. When we complicate step one, we usually don't do step one. Okay. I just tend to have a lot of patience. So I was able to breathe and help this customer service representative provide customer service. But I said it to say something that trips us up when we are going out to accomplish a goal is that our step one isn't clear and simple enough for us to take action. So that's the first part that gets us stuck up and gets us stuck in our tracks. Number one, not having a clear step one, two, three. If you can just do step one, step two, and step three, and then revisit your plan, revisit your goal, and say, okay, what's going to be the next three steps? You can be able to cultivate actual progress, and the progress is measurable because you can be able to go into your notebook or to your board or to wherever it is, and you can be able to say, oh, I did step one. Oh, I did step two. I did step three. It's measurable. When we can measure things, we can actually feel like we are making progress. When we get that feeling that, oh, I'm making progress, what happens? Your confidence goes up. You start moving in this audacious energy and you want to accomplish more goals. You feel more inspired. You're more motivated. So, number one is having a clear step one, two, and three. I like step one, two, and three because again, it is way less intimidating than step 1 through step 50. When you see that, and if you use Chat GPT very often, you know Chat will give you, I call it chastity because mine has a woman voice. Chastity will give you, she'll give you a strategy for the next 5 years. She'll cultivate a strategy from starting a business to scaling the business to selling the business. She'll give you a strategy and you'll see everything clear. We're not lacking any information. We are in the age of Aquarius. Everything that we need to know is available to us. We're not lacking any information. But when we see step 1 through 50, we're like, yeah, 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 yeah. And for some interesting reason, we may start at step 1, but maybe get to step 2 or 3 and fall off. Why is this? This brings me to my next point. Next point is this. When we set out to accomplish a goal, when we set out to accomplish something, and we desire something, what I find often us as women do is we want everything to look perfect. We want to feel the perfect way in order to do the activity, the income producing activity or the actual dating activity, or we want everything to look perfect. It has to be it has to give chef kiss energy and nothing for us. And see, the stagnating thing about that is that usually you paint the picture with paint that you currently have, and then you paint the canvas, and then it develops into this picture. And when you look at it, you like, you know what? It's perfect. Why? Because it has my effort, it has my energy, not because I spent 45 days sketching it and there's no flaws on it. Oh, it's truly because you've imprinted the energy, the time, the effort, and the creativity. It's yours, it's your baby, right? When I'm painting, and even if I'm hosting a paint therapy session, paint therapy is when I paint, excuse me, not paint. I host a painting session and I provide talk therapy. And then through the painting and talk therapy, it's a guided way of expressing your emotions through color therapy. And it's this beautiful, like extremely uniquely niched experience that I provide that brings families closer together, romantic partners closer together. It brings you closer together with yourself if you're doing it individually. And it's this beautiful, creative experience that provides an emotional expression, something that we don't get to do often if we don't prioritize it. But anyway, when we are going out to do something, accomplish something, we have this goal, we have this vision in our mind. Maybe you want to be a content creator, maybe you want to be a yogi, maybe you want to move it, like just really move into the vision of the ideal woman that you see in your mind, the superwoman or the woman who has it all. And you see this vision, and then you see step 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you got step 1, 2, and 3, but now something has happened. Now, the time that you thought that you were going to have to commit to your YouTube channel or to commit to creating content, now something has came up and you only have 30 minutes a day instead of the 5 hours of production that you were going to use for your content creation. Oh, something pops up. Let's say a trigger pops up and you are in the middle of dating, or you are, again, you've read yourself up to go date, right? Now something has popped up and it's discouraging you, or you are dating and you're connecting with the person, but it's just not giving perfection, right? The environment or the experience isn't perfect enough for you to move forward to your step 1, 2, and 3. So you typically stop at step 2 and say, okay, let me make everything perfect. And this isn't the dating example. That's a whole nother story. Let's keep it specific to business and profession, right? Because that's a whole nother YouTube video, right? But I say that to say anything that you are setting out your mind to accomplish, right? When you get to step one and then step two comes and then the environment starts to shift or something gets a wrench get thrown in the plan or a curveball. My mother call it the peekaboo. She'd be like, oh, just a lot of peekaboo stuff happening right now. It's like the peekaboo. So the peekaboo starts peekabooing. What do? You stop, right? We usually stop what we're doing and say, you know what, let me get this environment back perfect, or let me get everything back perfect so that way I can be motivated and inspired enough to proceed to step two, step three, step four. And see, this is what I like to call perfectionism. Here's something that I learned, and even about myself. I used to never resonate with perfectionism. I'm like, I'm not a perfectionist. I'm an action taker. I am a peak performer. Nothing has to be perfect in order for me to take action. I'm so that woman who will take massive inspired action. And I thought I didn't resonate with perfectionism until I realized, oh, I don't get imperfectionism when I'm starting. But in order for me to finish, I noticed that the perfectionism kicks in there. See, here's the thing about concepts and philosophies: self-sabotage, perfectionism, procrastination. Just because these concepts usually resonate with someone who is experiences this in the beginning doesn't necessarily mean it can't gully creep and follow up and peekaboo you in the ending or during the middle of it. So something like self-sabotage is usually when, let's say, something good really happens to you and you meet the man in your dreams and then sabotage. Sometimes self-sabotage don't look like that for everyone. Sometimes self-sabotage could potentially looks like meet the man in your dreams. He seems to be perfect. And you don't self-sabotage in the beginning. But then as time goes on, you start self-inflicting insecurities, which is self-sabotaging. You're self-inflicting and you're going outward to find things to be insecure about. That's self-sabotage. It didn't happen in the beginning, so you didn't resonate with self-sabotage. But towards the middle of the relationship, or as you ascended in romance, the marriage has happened, the wedding has happened, it was a vibe. You found a way to inflict insecurities on yourself. So, listening to a video or even learning about self-sabotage in a book may not resonate with you because you're like, "Oh, well, I don't do that. I think good things are supposed to happen to me." But it wasn't until maybe you got triggered from an emotional wound, that's when the self-sabotage came. So for me, with perfectionism, I never resonated with it because I'm like, I'm an action taker, baby. I will take me some action. I will take me some action. However, when climate changes and environment changes, that's when I get shuck up and say, "Oh my gosh, no, I want it to be perfect again. Oh my gosh, it's snowing. No, sun, come back out. What are you doing? No, I need to wear this dress. Winter, what are you doing? Like, why are you snowing? No, no, no. Stop snowing." And then we try to start controlling our environment. We start trying to control the environment, the people around us. We start to try to control circumstances that are out of our control, just so that way everything can be perfect for us to move forward to step two, three, and four. Now, let me tell you the reason why, again, this trips us up is because the moment you try to control anything outside of yourself, that is the moment you become a maniac, a mad woman, because you're trying to control things that are inevitable or people who have their own thought process and their own way of living. You're trying to control the inevitable circumstances that it's not in your control to control. Then, once you're trying to forcefully control these outside experiences, circumstances, relationship, people, and all of those things, and it doesn't go in your favor, then you start to do what? You start to blame. Well, I'm not where I want to be because when I tried to do this, this happened. And because the environment wasn't perfect, because the relationship, not the relationship, excuse me, because the process didn't look perfect, I stopped taking action. And I stopped moving in alignment with that 50-page PDF Chat GPT gave me to tell me what I should do. See, we know what we should do. And just because we know what we should do doesn't mean that we always do it. We usually wait for the right environment. And when I say environment, I mean emotional environment, spiritual environment, physical environment. We usually wait for the right environment to actually take the action. And that's cool for the fairy tale vibes. I'm super into that. Right? But as a peak performer that you are, that we are developing you to be during these 28 days of feminine wisdom, as a feminine peak performer that you are, you're going to take aligned action and you're going to learn power versus force. Force is waiting for the environment to be perfect in order to take action. And then when the environment is not perfect, then you're trying to control things outside of yourself. And then when those things cannot be controlled by you, then you start to blame those things for your lack of success or your lack of productivity or your lack of being able to show up and do what you're supposed to do. Power, soft power. Power is when you cultivate the environment for yourself and you become obsessive with being the creator that you are to say, okay, all right, it was sunshine. I had this yellow dress on. The sundress was dressing. Wintertime is here. Okay. This means that I'm going to turn on the oven and I'm going to bake some cookies. And while I'm baking those cookies, I'm going to finish and complete step 2. Oh, winter's here. Oh my goodness, the snow is falling. I got on this yellow dress, right? And ChatGPT gave me all of these things to do during the summertime, but it done turned winter. Okay, how are we going to alchemize this experience? What do I need to feel in order to feel warm? Okay, what do I need to feel, right, in order to feel a sense of sunshine or summer? What is the emotion and the feeling that I get in the summertime? What is the radiance? Can I go on Amazon and get the different red lights and do some red light therapy? Can I go to the gym and actually use the gym membership to go to the sauna and give me that feeling and that energy and that frequency as if I was in the sun and I was in Mexico? When we stop trying to control things and we use that same energy to actually get creative, we win every time. Anytime you switch your mind from control to create, you are more in your godly power. You're more in your godly energy because you are made in the image and a likeness. We are made in the image and the likeness of God. So this means that when we are creating, we feel empowered, esteemed, we feel very close to God, we feel large and in charge, is what I like to call it, right? And we are now exercising our creativity. So we're becoming better creators. We're becoming better creators because now we're using our creative energy to make this world a better place for you and me. But we're using our creative energy to be able to alchemize the same moment that would have kept us stuck. We're now using our creative energy to rewrite the story and the narrative of why we can't get further. How can I? What can be true? Where can I? These open-ended questions that we learned when we were in elementary school. The who, what, when, where, why. Who, what, when, where, and why, and how. These are the very questions that you're going to be able to use to move your experience forward. I want you to think in your mind anytime you get stuck, anytime you go approach that step 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then the climate starts to change and then it starts to snow. I want you to think in your mind, I want you to think, okay, what would have to be true to move this experience forward? How can I use my creative energy to move this experience forward? Oh my goodness, I was in a high level of momentum and now I'm feeling like I'm slowing down. What would have to be true to move this experience forward? How can I use my delicious, my beautiful, radiant, transformative, feminine, creative energy to move this experience forward? I am an alchemist. How can I move this experience forward? When we start to think in terms and in the mindset of creation and being a creator and understanding that we can cultivate the right environment, the right time, the right energy, the right frequency, despite what the outside says. This is how we move the experience forward. And this is how you go from getting stuck at stage one or step one to actually moving your experience forward. So those are the two main things that I see that can stagnate us, right? And give us the peekaboo, and rough up our nervous system and make us feel like we want to fall back from the very thing that we were very excited to lean inward to. I want you to think about this. If you were to close your eyes right now, and if I was to say, like, think of, like, I want you to cultivate in your mind, think of like the most juiciest, sensational, comfortable, pleasurable moment. And like, what's involved? What does it smell like? What's the vibe? What's the aroma in there? The temperature, how does it feel? Is it really nice and warm? Is there a cool breeze? Is it hot? Are you sweating? The feeling in your body. Is it a feeling of ecstasy? Is it blissful? Your bones. How does your bones feel like? If you were to feel your skin, what's that texture? What's on your skin? Is that butter? Is that shea butter? Is that mango shea butter, babe? What is that? It smells so good. Mm, wow. Okay, open your eyes. So, here's the thing. You were able to feel that pleasure in your body. That's the environment that I'm talking about. Did the snow stop? No, I'm saying snow because I'm currently in New York, but did the snow stop? Did it just become summertime all of a sudden here in New York? Absolutely not. But when I was closing my eyes and I was envisioning, and I was sensationally putting myself in an environment of pleasure, ecstasy, in this warm, hot, charismatic, delicious, sensual energy, did I feel my body heating up? Absolutely. So this is what I mean, and these are the tools, and this is the concept that I want you to think about. Understanding that, okay, if I get tripped up and my climate starts to change around me, how can I put myself in a climate, in an environment, in a mindset, in an emotional state where I can move the experience forward? So, understanding perfectionism can show up and manifest in plenty ways. It doesn't have to just look like something that's obvious. And the beautiful thing about creativity, it's not perfect. My daughter, she is one of the most creative little children I've ever seen in my life. She loves to create. I remember this one time I was folding up some clothes and I hear her moving in the kitchen. Okay, I come up the stairs and I'm hearing faster movement. She's trying to straighten up, apparently. I come to the kitchen and say, "Hey, darling." I see her standing. She has her hands behind her back. She's looking both ways. I said, "Hey, darling, what are you doing?" I know her so well. What are you doing? I wanted to make a pizza. You wanted to make a pizza? I wanted to make a pizza, Mom. I just had it in me, and I'm watching these shows on YouTube, and they're showing me how to do all of these things and all this creative, and I just wanted to. Sometime, Mom, she gets it. She gets into this deep explanation. Sometime, Mom, I just wanna do it. It's like I can't think of anything else but to do what I'm seeing in my mind. Like she likes to materialize what she sees. And I said, pipe down, sweetie. That's okay. It's okay. Mom's the same way. When I see an image in my mind, I love to have it in my hand, right? I'm a materializer as well. I'm a manifester and also a materializer. I love that. I love the process of it all. I love the cosmic transaction of it all. It's so beautiful. It's very radiant. Oh, how lucky are we, right? So I'm looking at this pizza that she cultivated, and I'm seeing that the elements for the dough is missing, and the pizza wasn't edible, and I'm like, darling, we won't be able to put this pizza in the oven. I'm sorry, we won't be able to cook this pizza. But I really want to just try. Like, as children, we were so intrigued by being creative. And something happens as adult as life demands more for us. From us, excuse me, as life demands more from us, we go into the state where we start to lack creative energy, and we start to just accept the things that are just outside of ourselves as just what it is, right? And we then begin to blame it. And it lacks power. It disempowers us. It makes us feel like hopeless victim. So what I urge you to do is I urge you to understand that your creative energy should be like activated. It should be this urge inside of you, same way my daughter has, right? This urge to be creative and get creative and use every moment to say, okay, how can I use my creative energy right now to move this experience forward? If you say that to yourself, and if you default to that question, when you ask better questions, you will get better answers. And guess what? Here's the phenomenal thing about this. You don't need anything or anyone else's participation in this change, in this pivot in the mindset, in this pivot in your emotional state, in this pivot into leaning into that pleasure. You don't need no one else's participation. So this means that it's all up to you. And when it's all up to you, you can be empowered and you can be esteemed to make the progress to do what? Move the experience forward. How can I use my creative energy to move this experience forward? Powerful question that will yield into a powerful answer. And you will be able to go from step one, step two, step three with confidence and clarity that you will not be knocked off your tracks because you know the things that can knock you off your tracks. People, places, and things that are outside of yourself, shifting, peekabooing when you're not ready. Changing the time, changing the date, switching up on you, especially if you're a woman who doesn't like change. It can be a humongous curveball that throws you off and frustrates you. However, when you understand that I can use my creative energy to move the experience forward and change the internal climate and upgrade the internal climate so that way I can get back into that space and that momentum and that space where I'm executing stage one, stage two, stage three. This is how we move the experience forward. So I want to hear from you. What is a place in your life that, or even a moment in time, or wherever you are in your life, what is it that you feel trips you up really, really bad? And it's almost notorious for stagnating you. I want you to drop it in the comments. Let's have a conversation because here's the thing. We have everything that we need within us now to be able to move the experience forward. It's just up to us to identify the opportunity when the opportunity comes. And oftentimes these opportunities are disguised as problems, but yet they're opportunities for us to use our creative energy to move the experience forward. I am affirming that this has helped you Again, we're 28. This is day 3, 28 days of feminine wisdom that's going to help you get into a state of peak from a feminine perspective, using your soft skills to complement your hard skills so that way you can propel in your personal and professional life. I'm so honored and grateful to be here and be present and that I could even do this, that I could even serve you in this way. So, if you resonate with this video, definitely like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel because guess what? 28 days of feminine wisdom is going to move your experience forward. So go ahead on and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And guess what? If you are ready to move your experience forward, but you want to get into a phenomenal environment that's going to help you be able to do that, I'm hosting a very, very, very immersive retreat experience in Dubai this April 2025. If you want more detail about it, feel free to click the link in my bio and we can be able to get on a call, talk more about it. You'll learn more detail, and then we'll get you in Dubai so you can move your experience forward. Okay, so yeah, few closing words here. Few closing words. Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. Mm. When you own your creative energy, it means just that. It means that you own it. So when you own your creative energy, you have full blown access to it. If you have access to your creative energy, you can always go into your creative bank and make a withdrawal. I want you to imagine your creative bank is like this humongous well that's just consistently flowing with tools, equipment, ideals, downloads, all of these amazing, let's call it energies and frequencies, and you can always go into that well, that ocean, and be able to come with your cup and say, this is the bottle, but you'll be able to come to your cup and say, you know what, let me see. Okay, the climate done changed. It's snowing now. Let me get some of my creative energy so I can see how I can move this experience forward. I want you to start really understanding the power of your creative energy and knowing that it is a God-given gift that we have an abundance of and we can tap into at any time and any place for any reason that we deem necessary. So enjoy the rest of your day. Again, we're day 3 of the 28 days of feminine wisdom, getting you in a peak state using your soft power. So you stay moving the experience forward, using your creative energy to move your experience forward, and I will see you forward. All right, you all, see you tomorrow.